Well, hi, I'm Robey Martin. I love food, and welcome to my episode of Good Eatin RVA. Well, I've been in Richmond for 20 years, and here I am part of Eat It Virginia on CBS 6. And do I like Richmond? Yes, I love Richmond. So good food and drink to me is, man, so many things. What my mood is during the day or evening, if I'm making food at home. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I just really feel like a big plate of pasta, and that's great food for me. Or if I'm out, it's a great service. So this is such a weird question, my earliest food memory, because there's like a whole bunch of things jumbled. The first thing that came to mind, and my mother is going to shoot me. So my mom owned a restaurant, and we spent a lot of time there, and she also spent a lot of overtime there. So occasionally we were at home with Dad. Sorry, Dad. He loves Stouffer's, which I don't know if you're familiar with Stouffer's, but they are literal TV dinner, but they also come in sides. And there's this like bizarre creamed spinach. Oh, it's so awesome yet so gross at the same time. And that is like my best and worst and earliest real food memory. Food heaven. I don't know, am I surrounded by pasta arrabbiata, or is this just a big ravioli that I just get to take massive bites out of? I don't know, anything wrapped in something is my food heaven. So sandwiches, ravioli, spring rolls. My food hell is microwaved eggs, overcooked steak, rubber chicken, watery coffee, lavender creme brulee. So if I'm at home, what do I like to cook? Okay, so if I'm at home alone, I'm going to cook. There's a great Asian or international grocery store here in Richmond called the New Grand, and they have wonderful like ramens, packaged ramens. And I really like this specific one. I know, noodles, fried egg, tons of spice. When Ryan and I are together and we're feeling good and we're gonna have wine, oh, then I have to cook a steak, because I don't know if you've met my other half, but really he's so full of beef he could moo. Like, so we're eating steak, we're probably having a potato, we're going to have a vegetable that he's going to push around his plate, and then I'm gonna fry an egg over top of the next day. For my appetizer and drink, I'm in the same place, Alewife. I chose Siren Song, which is a large appetizer platter for, I don't know, 20 people, and the gin and tonic, which is sustainably sourced and elevated. Because if you don't bring it to me while you're dancing, I'm gonna be, oh God, that was really well done.
Oh no, I got vibes. Ta-da!
Ta-da! All right, so many things. I've got no idea what these are, so I'm glad to have you. But that looks like ravioli, did I call it?
That's ravioli, so that's algae raviolis with the filling is seaweed and braised fennel. It has a little squid and broccolini and preserved lemon butter.
All right, so Bo, the chef de cuisine of Alewife, first, thanks, because this smells insanely good, so I'm super excited about it. It's also huge. Does it always come to the table this size?
I would say there's always between 8 and like 11 things.
Where does this come from in your head? Because all of this is your head, correct?
It's the job of whoever's working the cold station to put it together.
So lots of people don't order the mackerel tail.
Yeah.
So you send it out because hopefully they would order it later on.
Right.
To keep things sustainable.
Sure.
Okay.
The angle on it is that when we get all of our fish comes in whole, but like the mackerels come in whole, they have a really tasty, tiny little collar on them. I've cleaned a lot of pigs in my life. It's almost like taking off the shoulders and then the hams, and then you work with the middles. And that's the same thing, like if you thought of this as being the back legs of a pig, it's delicious because it has a lot of gelatin and collagen from the skin, and it's like the bones are full of gelatin and flavor too. So when you cook them, that gelatin and stuff blows out into them and makes them super rich. And I mean, they're essentially eating a chicken wing anyway.
Do you Felix the cat it?
Yep, Felix the cat.
You just roll straight down?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how people can eat this. It's so sexy to hold in your hand. It's a little bit half cartoon character and half really sexy.
Or just sexy cartoon character. You're Wilma.
That was your choice?
I don't know.
You didn't go Jessica Rabbit? You went Wilma?
Jessica Rabbit's too much.
So this is actually something that you put on late in the game.
I just threw that on for you to try. That's poached sanguinelli blood oranges. We started with caracaras, now there's sanguinelli blood oranges. It's just like sesame and Szechuan crunch on the outside of it. If your mom gave you the fanciest mid-soccer game snack, dessert time we serve it with some creme fraiche that has burnt honey whipped into it, just because they're a little more tart.
No, they're not. They're delicious.
We're selling New York strip right now, so at one of the ends of it there's like a heel, but we save that and either we grill it for staff or we turn it into tartare for these things.
So all of this is in an effort to get people to try things maybe they wouldn't normally. So like this is a squid, and he looks great.
Tasty.
I'm gonna eat it. Oh God, he's so good. So much acid in that. That's so nice. I gotta tell you, that's real fun. And this is because you guys just got a new rice cooker.
Yep.
But there's pork belly in here. People are gonna think that it's sushi, but it's pork belly in there.
Yeah, so it's a kimbap. It's like the Korean version of sushi, to my understanding. I read enough about it to possibly do something that is a bastardization. It's cured in braised pork belly, kimchi, rice cooked with a dashi that we make, and then you just wrap it, and I don't know how to eat it. I
don't think I can do that. I mean, I want to do that, but I don't think I can. And then this is
a perch.
I love your perch, yeah.
This one's just salt and pepper, but like you've probably had it with like the Szechuan crunch.
The perch is so fun.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great idea for our group because a lot of people won't eat tails and heads and other things, but if the group gets it, they feel like they might be able to. And
if you have the one person who's if you were here with 5 of your friends and none of them wanted this, but if you bite into it, like it's really good, then you can get 5 other people to eat it, and then
maybe when they come in next time, they'll get the whole fish.
Right.
And this is mussels? No.
Oh, so that's kimchi with broccolini and then a vinaigrette made out of chili crunch.
Oh, nice. And this is on your menu.
It's like kind of derivative of it. It's a chicory salad, like a radicchio type thing.
So a pretty radicchio with pink in there.
Yeah. And then it has Point Reyes from California, Back Bay blue cheese. There's Oro Blanco grapefruits in it too. And then on the menu it has candied pistachios, but we hadn't prepped that yet today. So that'll be a crunchy thing if you come.
Well, I love this idea, which is why it's my favorite appetizers in Richmond, because I feel like if you can push people out of their food comfort zone, like all of a sudden they find something that is their favorite. I hear it all the time. I won't eat that. I don't love that. I can't get near that. It looks like this. And that's never the case. Like somebody is going to come and try this mackerel tail, and then a week from now it's going to be like, that's the best thing I ever ate, because I've learned that I actually do like an oily, beautiful, delicious fish. So local, all local, some local, what's that work for you?
We attempt to be as local as possible. I worked in a place in Charleston that had such strict restrictions on where produce could come from, where proteins could come from, which gave me like a great appreciation for food. But like it's even an issue of sourcing sometimes for fish for me. Like we have perch when I can get perch.
Now tell me about this guy.
So that's the house gin and tonic. We almost always have a gin and tonic in our kegged cocktail. So we have one draft cocktail all the time.
And explain that to me. Draft cocktail. It's just a cocktail and draft that you guys are carbonating.
It's like citrus, Saint Germain, gin. I'm sure there's a vermouth in it. We try to have like a lighter cocktail that's more approachable with the food we do here. So this is like an acidic citrus, floral elderflower gin and tonic that's on draft. So it comes carved.
You guys make your own tonic water, so that's a good thing to know, especially from a gin and tonic standpoint. So all of this is essentially, other than the gin, is something that you guys create here. Yeah,
if it's not like a bottled booze that we have to buy from VABC, they make it, and it's really good about that.
So why alewife?
So alewife is a type of bait fish that lives in the Chesapeake, and it's not endangered, but it's a protected species because there's not enough of them in the world anymore. And that's kind of the progression of how you lose things. Like if something gets overfished, then the bait fish overpopulate it, eat up all the food, and then there's a real balance going on. And I think that's selling perch, selling mackerel. Like, we try to sell things that are less commonly purchasable in Richmond.
But that's really cool, because I mean, I actually didn't know that bait fish was, but that makes sense as you start to walk through where you guys' mindset is and how this gin and tonic came along and how whole fish and tails. That's just a neat,
Yep, so, I mean,
it's a cool byproduct. Anyway, thank you for your time.
yes, it was awesome.
I mean,
Good
I
times.
love seeing you guys, and I'm super, super excited to see this
Hopefully
live
we are-
again.
We are back in some way.
So we're here at Pinkies in Scott's Addition, where an entree choice is hard to make. So we have shrimp speziato and the pork chop.
All right.
Oh man.
Pork chop, shrimp speziato.
Speziato, is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Nice. So this is all for me, right? You're leaving?
Yeah, yep.
Like, where has Pinkies come from? Give me all that history.
Well, Pinkies, it was my mother's nickname. She would cry, her face would turn red, and her sister named her Pinky. And yeah, I mean, she had 4 boys running around crazy. She cooked for us every day, and yeah, I spent a lot of time helping her, you know, whether it was bread and chicken cutlets or rolling meatballs for her. And
Where are you originally from?
New Rochelle, New York,
Yeah.
which is right outside of the city. Yeah, born and raised there, and then I moved to Richmond 11 years ago.
And started cooking in Richmond right when you got here?
Yes, so when I lived in New York, I did construction with my family, who actually helped a lot with the design here. My grandfather drew up the floor plan with me. I took all the measurements, and we did it together.
No way.
And that floor plan is actually hanging up on the wall over there.
Oh, so that's so cool.
Yeah, so because he unfortunately passed away this fall, but he had been designing and building diners for 70 years, and
Man, that's neat.
that's kind of where I got my start with construction. And I would always wait tables, food running, all kinds of restaurant jobs at night and on the weekends. And then when I moved to Richmond, I decided to start cooking, and it kind of picked it up quickly.
So we'll start with the shrimp speziato, which I'm totally getting the hang of. So tell me about that.
Basically, it's a play on a very North African, like kind of coconut saffron sauce. I personally love when people can taste the grill, so we make sure we put some extra butter on there so the flames really sizzle on the shrimp. I'm Italian, so I prefer polenta.
Well, this is
What we're going
beautiful.
for.
What
Thank
is
you.
in the bottom in the sauce other than lemon zest and chili
So
peppers?
it's coconut milk and chicken stock, and we steep the saffron into it, along with, you know, garlic and shallots and various other things. And we actually make our own curry here, but we make our own blend and marinate the shrimp in that, so it kind of rounds out that flavor.
Now, can I get a pork chop for lunch?
Anything. You can get a ribeye right when we open, 11 a.m. So that's my favorite way to eat pork chop. Kind of an Italian play on it. I always like pepperoncinis with pork chops. It kind of fits that same like pulled pork and pickles that they do down south here. I just feel like the juice of that pepperoncini jug that you get is so flavorful. So I've always played with different ways to use it, and I decided to start brining the pork chops in that, so you carry that flavor all the way through. And that we do for 24 hours before we start cooking it. We, again, char it nice and heavily on the grill. You really want to taste that flavor and caramelize all the seasonings that we put on there. Our grill spice blend has over a dozen spices in it. That kind of gives us the flavor, our signature flavor of everything that goes onto the grill. And there's also Calabrian chilies in the sauce, which are like a fruitier, spicier pepper, so it kind of just rounds out instead of it being that sharpness of the pepperoncini. You also have some heat in there.
So this is a fun pork chop because it's cooked really nicely. It has a great brine to it. You can taste a little bit of that. It gives you a little bit of acid. So I saw him walking by with the potatoes to do this. This is a lot of prep, this potato is.
Yeah, we got some tricks, but it's something I've always liked because it kind of gives you a crispy top and a buttery bottom. We use the Yukon Gold potatoes because they're nice and buttery. And once you work out the tricks, it's not as difficult as
It's not as difficult.
No.
So a Hasselback potato, right?
Yes, Hasselback.
Not David. But look at those cute layers.
It's easy to eat too because I like to just slice one
I
wedge.
just like shove it in my face. Your dad was in construction.
Yeah, my family's been in construction. My great-grandfather was the one who moved here from Italy,
Where in Italy?
Calabria. And me and my grandfather went on a trip there right before I moved to see our family. You know, just being there, it was weird because I've never met any of them in person, and I immediately felt like family. And the food was just so fresh, and you could smell the ocean in the background, and it just kind of opened my eyes to that whole feeling I try to provide here. Is just like the windows are open, everyone's super nice, just genuine, do our best. The food is fresh. I get produce in fresh every day.
I get a lot of acid and citrus from your food. Like obviously the pepperoncinis are a good acid add.
Yeah.
This has, I'm getting ready to eat some of this, but this one has a great acid added to it too.
Yep.
I just think that's
Citrus zest.
so much zest. Like,
Yeah.
And then I like your heavy hand with
Fresh herbs.
yes.
Yeah. It just, I like to give it a little extra, a lot extra freshness, zest, herbs. It just adds more flavor, and it's just authentic to the region. I mean, that's how they eat over there, and that's how my family ate growing up.
If you are afraid of spice, you can eat here, but if you really love it, he really embraces it. I'm pretty excited because this is the first time you and I have been face to face. You had a pastry place in the South Side. Was that your first restaurant in Richmond?
Yes. It was our first bistro patisserie that we developed. We had it for 13 years or so.
And it was called?
The Dessertery.
Where did you learn how to make pastry?
At home, I guess, helping with my mom first in the kitchen. It's always a good beginning.
And where is home for
Long
your
Island.
mom?
Oh, Long Island. So we grew up on Long Island.
Okay.
And then just going to the bakeries growing up. We had a lot on Long Island. So we would just go and see what they're offering. And it always made me like in awe to see the showcases and all the things that they had.
So I have questions about French pastry technique. I'm just not detail oriented enough to be have anything to do with baking. Do you feel like that's like part of your nature in other things, not just baking?
Yeah, my personal nature is that way. I like things in line, consistent, structured. To me, it's an expression of efficiency, and motions are the same. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste product. So you're constantly tweaking yourself, tweaking recipes so that it's always more and more exact and more perfect. But I'm not overly compulsive. I just enjoy that process.
Sure.
I like seeing the end results consistently.
Like you could have gone into, because of your nature, you could have gone into executive chef of the Jefferson, let's say. What made you veer into baking?
I just love specifically pastries, the artistic element of it, and colors, and just desserts in general. People love desserts, and I love bringing joy to people through desserts. But to me, it's pastries is like a little bit of sorcery. You get these ingredients, and then you work a little bit of magic, and then you put it through your hands, and then voila, there it is. And people are kind of like mystified by it. How did it happen?
So you know why we're here, because you're my favorite dessert in the Richmond area. So can you walk me through making an eclair?
Yeah, so eclair is so simple. Just a couple
Sure,
of elements
simple.
together.
It's
But
simple.
sometimes simple is very good. So with the eclair, you have the pâte à choux, which is the pastry, the choux paste, which puffs up, and then you fill that with some kind of custard, pastry cream.
My favorite thing in the world, by the way.
Yeah, it's good
Pastry
stuff.
cream it's genius stuff.
And then on top of that, you have a fondant glaze that goes over, and then you can, leave it like that, or add other elements on top if you want.
So is eclairs the only thing I can get here?
No, eclairs are a staple here. They're very popular, so it's one of the desserts we do consistently all the time. We have people that come in with their own containers who have an allotment, a space for like their 2 eclairs, and they come in and they fill up their little Ziploc container and they go home.
And it's not just dessert at Fine Creek. This is like a whole experience, right?
Yeah, there's a lot to offer here because it's a wedding facility first, so you have your brides and grooms in the wedding setting going on in the one venue. And then you have the general store that's open to the public for retail. We have gifts in there, wine, homemade pastas. The general store also is a check-in for the cottages for guests. For those who are having a wedding here and they have their families that might be a day or 2 need to stay here. So we have cottages for them, and they're also available for the public as well.
So I could just roll in from Richmond, stay here, eat like 42 eclairs, and go home.
Yeah, you could do that. I just need to notice how many eclairs.
Who's responsible for this garden?
So we have a few groundskeepers, and the chefs will ask a few things to have in season, and they'll plant that, and then they keep up with the flowers, the pruning.
It's very pretty. Look at that. Oh God, this is truly like one of my favorite things. I always go for the bottom first.
Interesting. Everyone has their technique.
They really do, don't they?